Good morning, Brownsville. Good afternoon, good evening, depending on when you're watching this feed. If this is your first time here, welcome. My name is Frankie Olivo. Our program focuses on the very important issues that are affecting our local community. We have shed light on injustices and we've allowed for our platform, this mic, to be that of the voice of the people. Now, this is something that you can see yourself supporting. Well, we ask that you join the cause. Make sure that you are following all of our social media platforms. Currently, right now, this live program is being streamed on X, formerly known as Twitter, and on Facebook. We could be found under Frankie Olivo. We also encourage that you follow our personal page on Face. We could be found under Olivo Frankie. But more importantly, if you haven't already, create a Gmail account, go to YouTube, like, follow, and subscribe to our channel titled Frankie Olivo TV. It's free. Why are we asking you to like us across the board? Well, as of late, our Facebook page is at risk of being taken down. The powers that be do not want you, the voter, to know the truth. But remember, we will not be silenced. So if you're really about the cause and you want to stand up to corruption and you want to hold our elected leaders and those in leadership positions accountable, all we ask of you is to subscribe to all of our social media platforms. Remember, Good Morning Brownsville will come on Monday through Friday religiously. So make sure that you are subscribed to Frankie Olivo TV on YouTube to tune in. We will not be silenced. And always remember, Brownsville, we are forever grateful to each and every one of you for the time and attention that you always give us. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much for that. How we doing, chat? How we doing? Happy Friday. I hope each and every one of you have had an eventful week trying to stay warm, getting ready for the Super Bowl. Much to look forward to for this weekend. Some jobs, I'm not sure if Erin County has Super Bowl Monday off. Not everyone has a luxury, but some do. Today, ladies and gentlemen, I wanted to talk about, if you haven't been following our program, what we do is we give the constituents, the voters, a little insight into candidates and their platforms. We are at 8 days away from the start of early voting. Well, 10 days away, 11 days away from the start of early voting next Tuesday. And from here till March the 3rd on Election Day, we will talk about the different races. We have been covering the candidate platforms and the different races throughout that are going to be on your ballot. We've been talking about Congressional District 34, the county judge race, the precinct for Cameron County, the different precincts out there. So for today's program, ladies and gentlemen, I want to talk about the 107th Judicial District Court. As we all know, elected officials, primarily judges, they have a role within our community, and it's a very important one. They are the ones ultimately that are the gatekeepers. They are protecting, enforcing the laws, making sure that the community is safe. Whenever somebody asks us to be their elected official, their elected judge, we need to look at their experience. More than anything, I would say, my personal opinion, whenever it comes to someone that's going to be on the bench, that's going to have very serious criminal cases, civil cases, I would expect them to be knowledgeable, experienced in this line of work. It's very important for us to make sure that we look into these candidates, see what they're all about. What was their experience like while they were attorneys? What could we expect them to do if we, the people, were to elect them into this position? And that is the reason why I wanted to focus on this race. And we have been criticized as of late, and we've heard people say and ask, why aren't you talking about the other candidates? Why aren't you talking about, let's say, Noe Garza? Why aren't you talking about Chuy Garcia? Why is your sole focus on Erin Hernandez Garcia? To be honest with you, ladies and gentlemen, the way we work is we get fed information, we chase stories, and as long as we can corroborate, we can substantiate, we provide proof and receipts on, let's say, a candidate that's running or some sort of ideology, my political stance, if I don't have anything to back that story up, my words are meaningless. At the end of the day, I want you to judge what we present to you based on facts. We pride ourselves in giving you receipts. What good is it if I talk about things without actually bringing you who was there, without talking about what others stated? When we talk about someone such as Noe Garza, what can we say? What is out there? The worst that I've heard is, you know, in my divorce, he was the opposing attorney and he took everything away from me. Well, he did something good for his client, for his client. For Chuy Garcia, the worst I've heard is, oh well, he's helping people with tickets. Well, we would want our either our municipal judges or even our JPs to help the community. Hey, tickets are expensive. Now we hope that there's no quid pro quo, right? But a if somebody that violated a traffic violation, to me, it's not a big deal for them to either get breaks in regards to a payment plan, that money be paid to a nonprofit, things like that. That's the worst thing that they have against Chuy Garcia. Is that bad? I'm not going to break my. I'm not going to cover a story on tickets. But we talk about Erin Garcia. She has had some questionable um, situations. We have talked about voter fraud, and that's something that we're going to talk about on Tuesday, on election day, the start of early voting, where her camp, those that are associated with her, have been accused of voter fraud. There is the cash for court favors, where somebody in her court, while she was a JP, said, "Hey, I paid the staff member from this judge. I expect favorable rulings. What's going on?" We're also going to talk about a quickie marriage that she performed, where she was in no authority to waive a 72-hour requirement for individuals to get married. Now, this is an individual that is saying that, based on her experience as an attorney, that merits your vote. Well, while those things to me is something to frown upon, what we're going to talk about today, ladies and gentlemen, is even possibly worse. Whenever we talk about an attorney, we think about somebody that is fighting for their client, somebody that is always going to make sure that they provide the best outcome for them. And I don't want to misconstrue this story, because it's a very delicate and difficult one. It's not one that I pride myself in presenting you, but at the end of the day, this is something that the community needs to know about, because ultimately what this person is asking for is something very sacred to you, and that is asking for your vote in one of the most powerful positions throughout our county. And today, ladies and gentlemen, we are inviting somebody to speak with us in regards to her experience at the cost, unfortunately, of Erin Hernandez Garcia. Good morning, ma'am.
Hi, good morning. Thank you for having
First
me.
of thank you for being here, ma'am. To start off, please introduce yourself.
My name is Kenia Garcia. So yeah. And Erin was representing my dad in 2016 for a divorce. So this is how it all started.
And before we start, ma'am, I just want to set the record straight. Have I coached you in any way?
No, not at all.
Have I told you? Have I suggested things for you to say before coming on this platform?
No, this is going to be my story and my experience.
And the reason that you're doing this is coming from your own will. You're not being forced or coerced or paid for doing this. Is this correct?
Correct. No, this is just me wanting to spread awareness and just put my story out there so this won't happen to anybody else, or just so people can know the kind of person she really is.
And when you say this, you said that this was a case going back to 2016. If you could lay context predicate into your case, what was happening in 2016, ma'am?
So my my brothers were 13 at the time, so they were the minors. I was 21, and or 22, and so they were dealing with like visitation and all this stuff between my mom and my dad. And one of the things was that my dad wasn't living in Brownsville; he was living in the outskirts of San Antonio. So one of the big like disagreements were about my brothers going all the way over there and things like that, because he lived with like in a camper with just like men, and so and then he worked with like a dump truck, so it was very hard to like my brothers be able, they're triplets by the way, so for them to be have a space like comfortably everything. So then they finally decided that he would end up coming down to Brownsville on the weekends to visit them. So that was kind of how like it all planned out. And one of the things that that ended up happening was that they had planned to, my dad had planned to come down, but due to certain, like my cousin ended up having a bodybuilding competition in Houston. He bought tickets for everybody. And my brothers ended up telling my mom, can you please ask my dad if we can change the date so we can see him the following weekend so we can be able to go. And my mom's like, okay, yes, I'll talk to him. My dad said, okay, that's fine, was in full agreement. And then a few days later, I mean, we go, and then a few days later, my dad on Thursday ends up having a car accident with my uncle, who was in the passenger seat, his brother, and they were involved in a head-on collision, and everybody passed away. And then so this happened like around 4 in the afternoon. Midnight comes, state troopers come knocking at our door to let us know about the passing of my dad and my uncle. And then, so we're dealing with all that. And then around like 8 o'clock, I get a phone call from one of my friends that lives in San Antonio. And she tells me, hey, who's representing your dad in the divorce? And then I told her like, oh, it's Erin Hernandez. And she's like, well, she just wrote something really bad about your mom on Facebook. And so that's kind of how it all started.
First and foremost, man, my condolences to you and to your brothers and your family for your tragic loss. So, Erin Hernandez Garcia was representing your father
Yeah.
in this visitation
Just the divorce,
issue
I
that
guess. Yeah, just the whole divorce.
in this case between your parents.
Hmm.
And you're saying that she posted something that didn't sit well with you. Is that correct?
Yes, correct.
And is this what I have on the screen, the post in which you're referring to?
Yes. That was,
If 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 I may, I'd like to read it just to let the people know what exactly you're referring to. Okay.
yes.
This was a post on social media, Facebook, where Erin Hernandez Garcia, who represented your father, stated, a client of mine was killed last night in a car accident. I was completely shocked to hear of the news this morning. I was representing him in a divorce, contested, of course. Why do I share this with you? There is a point. When adults make the decision to get divorced, that's fine. Happens a lot here. Just remember that you are the ones getting divorced, not the children from the parents. Some parents, mothers included, need to grow the blank up and parent their children and not make excuses to the other parent about the children not wanting to go or we have plans. If you are the parent, if there is visitation, you have to enforce it, period. I can't help but wonder, would my client still be alive right now if he would have had his boys like he was supposed to? My last convo was with him yesterday about enforcing his visitation rights. Mom wanted to make his life hell at the divorce. She did. She walked out smirking that she got her bleep her way, and the judge sided with her. Well, guess what, lady? I hope you're happy now and hope your plans were worth every second. Live with that. Ma'am, based on what you read, what do you feel, or how did you interpret this social media post?
Well, right off the bat, she's like, she blaming my mom for basically my dad's passing. And then not only that, but she's like changing the whole narrative about like denying visitation and all this stuff when that wasn't even the case. It was a change in visitation dates because something came up. My dad was notified. He was in agreement. They already had made plans. The day before he passed away, he had talked to my brother, and they had made plans that they were going to go have lunch or whatever. And just like it was just changed to make my mom look like such a terrible person, and that wasn't even like the case at all. And then so reading all of that while having to deal with like the news, like it wasn't even 24 hours of us finding out. Like we were literally woken up by state troopers at midnight, and then dealing with this at night. And then my brother's reading that. They're 13 years old, so they're reading that, and then they started to feel really guilty because at the same time they were the ones who were telling my mom, like, oh, can you please ask my dad if we can change the dates and so we can go to this. And now her saying like, oh, well, if I can't help but wonder if she would have had the kids, like, and it's kind of like this also happened during the week. Like it was during like a work thing. Like it had nothing to do whether if he would have been down or like if he had my brothers or not. So just how she just painted this whole different picture to make herself look like such a, like, oh, I'm such a caring like attorney. And but in reality she's like bashing her client's children's mother on Facebook, and then trying to like pin this like kind of like, oh, can't help but wonder if he would still be alive. And it's just kind of like, who says things like that? It was very like weird and like crazy to see. And then reading the comments, that's like where, like, because in the comments a lot of people were, obviously there were some people who didn't know who she was talking about, but they just started like talking about like my mom, just saying like, oh, yeah, there's probably like she's probably a deadbeat mom and all these things. And then there was people who were able to identify who she was talking about, which made it even like worse, because then they started to state like things, how they knew him. Yeah, like that. That's one of them. And then because he was a taekwondo instructor, so he's one of the, like, he knew us. And
There's people that have mentioned she didn't specify a name.
mhm.
She didn't single him out. She didn't say, such and such person. What what's your response to those people that would make that argument, man?
Like it still violates like client confidentiality because people were able to identify who she was talking about just based on the little like just on based on the information she gave out. Her client passed away in a car accident the day before. She was representing them in a divorce. They had boys, like things like that all add up. And then people in the comments then were like able to leave like, oh yeah, he was a great teacher, mentor. So yeah, he was a taekwondo instructor. And then he's like, oh, I knew all four of them, which is true. It's me and my three brothers, so it's all four of her kids. Like things like that, like people were able to identify obviously who she was talking about, and that right away like makes it like breach client confidentiality. And
And whenever we talk about the passing of somebody, it's very difficult, and only those that have gone through something of losing a loved one could relate to you. How did it make you feel, ma'am? Or your brothers, who you said were 12, 13 years old? How did it make them, or how did it make you, the children, feel when you have to deal with this issue of your loved one passing, but then for it to be plastered on social media where people were able to, put two and two together?
it was like, well, at first it made me feel very angry to see all of that, and then at the same time I was um like I felt bad because my brothers were also very like, they were thinking like, what if my uh because like I say, like in the comments people were saying all these like horrible things about a version of my mom that's not true. So my brothers were saying, what if my like friends parents are seeing this, or what, like things like that. Like, this is so, like, I can't believe it. Like, they just felt so embarrassed and just so, like, I can't believe all this is being put out there. Like we just, it was just such a, like, violation of, like, privacy, and then just to be, like, our own, like situation, tragedy, everything just to be put out there for her own benefit. It was just so, like, disrespectful. And I don't know. I don't know. I wouldn't want to wish that on anybody, especially during, like, a time where we're not only grieving, like, my dad's death, my, like, his brother, my uncle also passed away, and then 3 months prior, my grandpa had passed away. So we had so much going on that year, and then on top of that, her, like, own public post on Facebook adding to it. It was just a lot to deal with at the same time.
What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts whenever? Because again, mourning someone in private is very difficult. And now that being a young woman and your brothers, teenagers, having to mourn in a public in a public setting, I'm sure was difficult. What are your thoughts, ma'am, whenever you see this on the screen? I'm not sure if you could see it on the screen. When somebody asks ethics and her response is, it's the cold, hard truth. What does that tell you about her um, as a person?
Well, for first, it just says, like, she's just, I don't know, she has, like, no heart for starting, because, like, she not once thought about her own, like, clients' children, like, how this is gonna affect that. Like, for some reason, she just wanted to, she had something against my mom. She wanted to, like, bash her and put it out there, but not once did she ever think about us. And then it's just, like, she has just, like, no integrity, like, at all whatsoever for doing that, because she just put a whole bunch of, like, lies on Facebook just to feed off of, like, people's comments for some reason. It was,
Now, I want to get your thoughts on a few more things. Um, you are aware that Miss Erin Hernandez Garcia is running for office. Is that correct?
yes.
And when she made her announcement to the Brownsville Herald, there's an article or a post that the Herald made on social media, on Facebook, and it reads the following. Brownsville attorney Erin Hernandez Garcia on Friday announced her candidacy for judge of the 107th State District Court. And she's quoted as saying, when people walk into a courtroom, they bring their lives with them, their fears, their hopes, and often their deepest worries, she said. I understand that. I've lived that. I want to make sure every person who appears in the 107th courtroom feels safe, heard, and is treated with dignity. Miss Kenya, do you feel as if, based on your experience, ma'am, what you have told me, do you think that Erin Hernandez Garcia would make people feel safe and treat people with dignity?
I personally, based on my experience, don't think so, because she, like I said, she did not once think about us. She did not make us feel safe by publicly putting our story and our tragedy out there for people to comment on. She not once ever apologized. Instead, she blocked me. She blocked my brother. She blocked all of us on Facebook, because 2 months prior to this being shared, my aunt went on Facebook and shared shared what the post that she had shared, but obviously put it in our, like, how it made us feel. And so she had scratched off the name, and then she had put, like, if y'all want to know, like, let me know. And so people were in the comments like, who was it, who was it? So I put her name, like, it was Erin Hernandez Garcia, because no, I don't want her to get away with, like, what she did to us. So I did put out the name there in the comments. So she got really upset and she blocked me. Then she messaged my uncle on Facebook, and she, like, basically threatened to sue my aunt for the post for defamation. But, like, obviously, like, there was no lies being told. Like, this was just our version of the story, and but she just didn't like how it was now making her look, because now it was coming from her clients, like, children, and their family. So she wanted to get it, like, taken down. Obviously my aunt, like, saw right through that. We didn't take it down. She obviously couldn't sue or anything because there was no lies being said. And but just the fact that she tried to use her own, like, position as a lawyer to try to intimidate, to, like, just try to make herself, like, she wanted to obviously, like, erase that, because but it's like, we were just using your own post that you shared private, like, publicly to everybody, but now you don't like how it's making you look because it's coming from us. Like, so it's just all that's
So just to recap, your aunt responded to Erin Hernandez Garcia's post, and pretty much just sharing how the family felt, how her kids felt in regards to that they were, correct me if I'm wrong, hurt by that post that was made. And you're saying that Erin Hernandez Garcia responded to your family threatening to sue. Do
mm-hmm.
you feel as if she was trying to intimidate you and to pressure you in some sort of way, man?
Well, she was definitely trying to get my aunt to, like, this was in 2016. This was definitely trying to get my aunt to take down the post, because obviously now it made her look in a negative light, instead of how she was trying to portray herself by sharing her, like, her thing originally. But now that my aunt shared the screenshot and said how it, like, obviously the tables turned on her, and it didn't make her look as the caring attorney anymore, because, like, it wasn't like that at all. She lied about the situation. She, like, hurt her clients' children that she not once thought about. Um, Yet she was, like, fighting in the divorce for them. Like, I mean, for my dad and for them, like, it makes no sense how she could just be so, like, clueless to, like, what she just did. And then not only that, so that happened in 2016. Then fast forward to now, I've been publicly, like, sharing my story on Facebook, and she called my dad's sister to tell them that me and my brothers were trying to ruin her campaign, and to tell us to stop. Mind you, she has us blocked on everything. She has me blocked from her campaign page. I tried to leave a review on her attorney page. She deleted it, and then she blocked me on Facebook. I left a review on Google, and she ended up, I don't know how she did, but she ended up deleting that. So she's just, like, trying to, like, silence us as much as she can. And just because we're sharing our story.
So, based on your experience, you have seen this individual who is running for a judge position, based on your words, try to intimidate your family, pressure your family, um, and even try to suppress your voice. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, because, like, there's no trace of, like, like, I literally put my review on, like, my experience with her. She deleted it and then blocked me. And then on same with Google, which I don't know how she went about that, but both me and my brother had left a review. She managed, it was there for a while, and then now you go back and check, there's no trace of my, like, of my review at all. Like, if you go and you try to see, and it's like, I don't know how she managed to get that off of Google, but I know that she's able to, like, delete it off of her own Facebook, like, page. That's why she only has 5 stars if you go and see. But it's just like, she's literally trying to, like, silence us, because, like, this now it's like the story is being said and put out there of, like, our truth, and she just doesn't want anybody to hear it because it doesn't make her look good.
Ma'am, what's your message to let's say somebody that supports her? You, Miss Kenya, you're just trying to ruin her campaign. Is that what you're trying to do?
No,
What are you trying to accomplish?
I just want people to see the kind of person that she is, because that's the kind of person that never took accountability. She was okay with just putting a person's personal life out there for her own like interest, benefit, whatever you may want in it. She just like violated client confidentiality without like caring about it. I was very unprofessional. I just want people to see like all these like characteristics that she like has, and it's like that's not a person you should want as a judge when like she's supposed to be like having like restraint and having like respect for boundaries and things like that. Like not one of those characteristics was ever shown, and I just want people to like see like this is what we dealt with her. And there's even more. Like I just want to share one more thing, like another thing that happened with her. So my dad passed away on a Thursday, but we didn't find out till Friday. She made her post Friday night. Yeah, so then Monday, she goes, mind you, my dad never actually fully signed the divorce papers. And she still went on Monday morning to go turn in the divorce papers. Didn't mention that he had passed away. Just went to go turn them in, and the judge signed them. And the way we found out was because my brothers were asking my mom, like, "Mom, can you just take off like the divorce? Like, can you just like remove it? Like, can you all just not be divorced, or like can y'all not go through with it, so we won't have to say that our parents are divorced?" Because they were like feeling like a lot of emotions and stuff after like my dad passing. So like they didn't want to have to be saying like, "Oh, well, my parents got divorced," and especially
We're
like after them
separated. Okay.
passing, yeah, or anything. So my mom's like, yeah. So she calls the lawyer. Her lawyer looks into it, and then she finds out that Erin Hernandez had gone on Monday to go turn in the papers, and then went on maternity leave the next day. So never mentioned. So the papers were signed, even though my dad hadn't signed the divorce. She still went to go turn it in, just to get like, I don't know, back on my mom for something. I have no idea what it was, but she just wanted to make sure that it was divorced. And so technically my mom was divorced to a deceased person, like, which is not legal, but it happened.
So, ma'am, so you're saying that your father passed away on a Friday,
On a Thursday.
I apologize, on a Thursday.
Mhm.
His attorney, Erin Hernandez Garcia, was aware of his passing. Is that correct?
Yeah. So she found out about his passing Friday morning, and then on Monday, she went to go turn in the papers to the judge, to the court, and never mentioned that he had passed away. Just went to go turn them in, like, "Oh, here, like this is another divorce case I have." And the judge signed him, and it was like, yeah.
What's your message? People are going to say, "Oh, well, she was just fulfilling her job." What's your message to? Because you're making it seem as if your family, your brothers, and yourself didn't want your mother to go through with it because you didn't want for them to say, they were separated.
Yeah, well, my brothers at the time, well, obviously they're 13. They just felt like a lot of they were feeling a lot of because they were supposed to see him that weekend. So they felt just really, they were honestly like going through like depression. Like they were depressed.
Right,
They were
right.
about to see my dad that weekend. He doesn't make it down. He doesn't come down. And then on top of that, she's over here trying to pin like somebody, like trying to blame somebody for their death. So then like she's trying to pin it on my mom for saying like, "Oh, well, if she would have just been with her kids." But my brothers are reading that and interpreting it as like, "Well, we're the ones who wanted to change the dates. So is that like our fault?" Like, so all these things. So now they're feeling guilty and all. So they asked my mom, they're like, "Mom, can you just please just like, can you just not go through with all of this, and just, since like nothing was ever signed, can we just not say that our parents were divorced or anything, and then y'all just continue like to be married even though like he's already like passed away?" So mom's like, "Yes, that's fine, like I'll do that." And then when she tried to go, and when she talked to her lawyer found out that Erin had done all that. And it's just kind of like, why? Like, why go through the trouble of having to go turn in all these papers and go to the thing, not mention anything? Like why? Like, I seriously don't know to this day, like, why she had to go do that, other than just to be petty and just to be, I don't know, like, just obviously there's something, like, she has something against my mom for some reason, and she just, I don't know. I don't know what
What
to say.
would you say she did it in spite? She
Yeah.
did it just to
Yes,
get
just
back at?
yes, just to spite my mom, because, like, my mom was fighting for my brothers to be able to have the visitations in Brownsville, so they wouldn't have to go over there and to, like, the San Antonio Gonzales area where my dad was originally at, because my brothers didn't want to go over there, because they were like, no, like, what are we gonna do? Like, one, they didn't have actually a place to really sleep, because he was sharing, like, a camper with, like, 5 different people. So he's like, what are we gonna do? Like, this is weird. Like, I'd rather my dad come and see us over here. So that was one of the big, like, back and forth things, which my mom ended up getting, like, that so that's where she's like, oh yeah, she got her way. But it benefited my brothers. Like, there's, like, I thought that was the that's what you're supposed to want. Like, what's in the best interest of the kids? And she just saw it as in, like, oh, like, how dare she, like, get her way. And it's like, well, this is gonna help the boys. Like, it's just crazy just how everything happened.
I I wanna I wanna play a clip for you, ma'am.
Mhm.
Again, Miss Erin Hernandez Garcia is running for the 107th Judicial District Court. We do have early voting, ladies and gentlemen, starting on February 17th, not this Tuesday, but next, with Election Day on March the 3rd. And in her campaign, she has spoken at events this past week. The Democratic Party did have its forum where the candidates for the 107th District Court did speak. I'm going to play a clip for you, Miss Kenya, and then I want your thoughts on it. Okay, 1 second.
Okay.
Let me know if you can't hear it. Okay,
Okay.
1 second.
I can't hear it.
Can you hear it?
No. No.
She's being asked that, and I apologize for that technical difficulty. She's being asked on what kinds of cases are the most challenging um, to her as an attorney, and
Mhm.
I don't want to be biased in no way. You are aware that that custody battles, divorce cases are delicate cases. You are understand of that, correct?
Mhm. Yes.
And you understand that the each party, each attorney is trying to do their very best for their client.
Yeah.
You're not questioning Erin Hernandez Garcia's attempt to do what she thought was best. What you're challenging is her ethics and her using her position to silence you. Is that correct?
Mhm.
Now, Erin Hernandez Garcia closed the the debate, the forum, saying that whenever there's children involved, it's something very serious, and she wants to make them feel safe, and that is something that people could expect before her in the 107th District Court if she is elected. Based on your experience, ma'am, do you think that children would be safe if they were in the court of Judge Erin Hernandez Garcia?
Based on our experience and what she did to me and my brothers did not feel safe for her publicly putting out our and, like, our stuff, our story, our situation. Um and that right there, it's like, if you can't even put your own, like, public, like, your own private thoughts, like, keep your stuff to yourself, and you just want to like vent about your clients and your cases on Facebook, like how can anybody trust her to like be a judge and keep other people's cases and children safe as well? Like,
So you're saying, based on your experience, you feel that children in divorce or any type of hearing before Judge Erin Hernandez Garcia would not be safe. Is that what you're saying?
well, I'm saying based on my experience, we didn't feel safe because she put our stuff out there for everybody to comment on a time where we were grieving a death, and where she made up a whole narrative about my mom, like a completely false narrative about my mom, and people were commenting on that. And she was, and then the fact that like they questioned her ethics, and she just said, "Oh, it's the cold hard truth." Like, even though it wasn't, like, it's just, me and my brothers did not feel safe. My brothers literally had to go to counseling based of all of this. And then she blocked all of us, my brothers included, on Facebook, like everybody. So I'm
So if she is trying to silence uh, community members, people that have been affected by her, could we possibly assume? I know it's wrong to assume, but if she's doing this as an attorney, could we possibly assume that she's going to be like this, or possibly even worse as a judge?
I mean, she's showing her colors already, like what she did to us. So we can only, based on what we've like experienced, that's what you can maybe say that might happen, or you can maybe expect, but that's just based on like my situation. Um and just the fact that like she she obviously knew that we were hurting, and she knew because my aunt had posted all that, and I've been posting about it. Not once have I ever gotten an apology or a, hey, you know what, can we talk about this? Or like, even her, just would, if she would have taken accountability to what she did like back in the day, and just say like, hey, you know what, it was wrong of me to have done that, like I apologize, I'm sorry, like it was in a moment of like whatever, I should have never done that. That to me would have been like, okay, you know what, like like, yes, what you did was wrong, but I could have like that she took accountability. But the fact that instead she decides to block us, she decides to use her position to intimidate, because it was making her look bad, and she threatens to sue. And now fast forward to her running as a judge, she's saying that me and my brothers are trying to ruin her campaign, uh because we're sharing our story, and she doesn't like that. We try to post reviews, deletes them, blocks us, you name it. I mean, that's just our experience.
Miss Kenya, take us home, ma'am. What's your message to the people of Cameron County in regards to Erin Hernandez Garcia's quest to be a state district judge?
Well, my whole thing is just, a judge holds like real power over people's lives and families, and like it really demands like restraint, integrity, and like respect for boundaries. And what happened to us showed like a serious lack of those qualities. And that's why I believe that she's not like a suitable candidate for this position.
Um, Yalo here says you hit the nail on the head. Accountability. None of these local politicians know what accountability is. It's very admirable, ma'am, for you to state or say what you just stated, that we all make mistakes. You and your family possibly would have welcomed a "I'm sorry. I could have used a better approach." But for a person to not recognize that they are at fault, wanting to silence you, wanting to intimidate you, um, just made the things even worse. Thank you so much for your time, ma'am. I think it's important for the community to hear from these type of experiences. At the end of the day, my job isn't to bash Erin Hernandez Garcia, isn't to try to derail her campaign. At the end of the day, my job is just to provide information to my community. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to give the voters your point of view and how somebody who's running for a very important position made you and your family feel. Thank you so much, ma'am, and I hope I wish you and your family nothing but the best.
Thank you. Thank you for letting me share and have this platform to share my story.
If you need anything from us or from this platform, ma'am, we are at your service. Okay,
Thank you. Appreciate it.
ladies and gentlemen, we are 11 days away from the start of early voting. February 17th, with election day, March the 3rd. It's important for you, the voters, you, the constituent, to hear from these life experiences. It is not my job to smear campaigns, attack candidates. What we do is we ask questions. While we may be criticized for asking county judge candidates to get questions about his profession, while we are going to be criticized for bringing someone to talk about her experience with Erin Hernandez Garcia, my job is to give you the good, the bad, and the ugly. What you decide to do with this is totally out of my hands. Ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't already, make sure you create a Gmail account, YouTube, like, follow, and subscribe to our channel titled Frankie Olivo TV. Best believe we'll come on Monday through Friday religiously. All we ask in return of our community is something very simple. Make sure you subscribe to all of our social media platforms. More importantly, make sure you subscribe to Frankie Olivo TV on YouTube. Thank you so much for your time and your attention. Have a great week and see you here on Tuesday. I won't be on Monday. Got a busy day Monday, but I'll be back ready to go 1 week before early voting. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Frank Olivo, and this is Good Morning Brazil. Peace! Ooh.